Welcome to the Colony 5-Star Sports Complex in the Colony, Texas, where the Dallas Roughnecks are facing off against the Nashville NightWatch. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald alongside Paul Burt for the live stream. And Paul, last week, Dallas and Nashville played each other in Nashville. Dallas actually took that game 27-8. So Paul, if you're Dallas, what do you do? What do you say to the team to come out really strong and really not take your opponent for granted?
I mean, it's really a question of like professionalism and respect for your opponent kind of a thing. You don't want to necessarily take any opponent for granted. You don't want to take any game light. If you expect to win this game, great. Win it by as much as you can. So.
Absolutely. So both teams really have some notable players to watch. On the Dallas side, Jay Frood, a valuable member of the D-line, was named the Nationwide Overspray Defensive Player of the Week last week. In Dallas's 2 away games, he had 8 blocks, 3 goals, and 4 assists. What does a player like Jay really contribute to the team?
Well, as strong as Dallas' defense already is, Jay is an amazing defender, an amazing player as a whole, right? And I've heard a lot of people mention Dallas plays with kind of swagger about their game, and that's a big part of what Jay also brings to the team. Tons of confidence, makes plays when they need to happen. He's just a big player.
Absolutely. Then on the Nashville side, the only current woman player in the AUDL, Jessie Schaffner, suiting up for the NightWatch tonight. Of course, she was a standout at Oregon, 2016 Ulti-World College Women's Player of the Year. What does she really bring to the table? What does she really represent for the league?
I think she's an excellent player and just tons of intensity in her own right, but I feel like she wants to be considered on her own merits as a player among the players and not be thought of as the woman on the field. So hopefully she represents herself well tonight. And
she's certainly a very talented player. The first pull does go up. Dallas starting on offense. Jimmy Mickle with the disc on the far side of the field. Lots of handler movement between Freechild, Malachek over to Hogg. Back to Malachek on the near side.
You're fine, Jake.
Jay Frood now with the disc on the near sideline.
All around.
Swings it back around to Malachek.
Yeah, Zach.
Malachek to Freechild. Backhand force. High release backhand Freechild to Hogg. Hogg dishes it to Malachek. And finds Ben Laurie for the score in the back of the end zone. Dallas won. First point of the game.
And that's just a perfect example of they really ran textbook offense. They did their full field offense, transition into end zone, had patience, got a little stalled out close to the goal, but at the same time collected themselves, took care of business.
Kind of interesting to have that backhand force to start the game as well.
I mean, as a defense, you want to be throwing things that they may not expect, you know? So, like, you're going to try different things. If that doesn't work, maybe you try it again, see if it was a fluke. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're constantly challenging them with something new.
And before the game, Coach Will Hannon spoke with us and really talked about controlling the controllables with his team. People do not have to play outside of themselves. Play their game and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
So the pull goes up for Nashville, right on the goal line. Ben Lewis there on the mark. Danny on now with the disc, swings it back around to Grant Waldron. Waldron now to Ben Bro. Some under disc movement to on. Finds Carden. Reed Bacon sealing off that deep look. Carden now with the fake. Back to on.
Go, Colin, attack, Colin!
On around to Ortiz. Low grab, but reception. Waldron now back to Payne. And Nashville answers. Carden with the score. And we're tied 1-1, 10-11 left in the first.
And I mean, you kind of saw early in that point, Nashville was tons of intensity, but a little bit antsy. You know, the guys were getting really like nervous with the disc, but by the end of that point, they started to collect themselves. They got spread out. They started to play their game like they talked about. They scored.
So now Dallas O-line back on the field. To Nashville now pulling really no wind tonight, which has been uncharacteristic. Certainly our last home game versus Raleigh was a much, much different story.
Probably the majority of home games have been far different from this.
Matt Slater, Gallen now with that hang time pull. Casey Hogg catches it. Moves it over to Malachek. Malachek finds Mickle, center of the field. Jimmy Mickle and Dylan Freechild were not at the game last week. They were playing with Team USA in Columbia. Casey Hogg now on the near sideline. Strike now for Malachek.
That's great, Pito. Get there, mark that.
He finds Jay Frood. Frood dishes it to Dalton Smith. Finds Jay Frood in the end zone for a score. Dallas 2, Nashville 1. It was a pretty textbook offense.
It was pretty textbook, yes. I honestly, based on the way the disc was moving, I couldn't actually tell what their force was. But that's kind of how Dallas operates often enough. They'll work short passes, swing it around and whatnot. I did notice that there's a lot of guys that are working really well together with each other. To initiate, Dylan takes off deep, but Ben Laurie is totally like a teammate with Jimmy. They know each other.
Right.
Great reset. Perfect initiation.
And that's something that Coach Pat Eberly has really tried to hone in on. Even though there are a lot of players that live in different places, they do have kind of the Colorado pod. You have, a few guys who played together on the Soul last year. You certainly have our Dallas players, maybe those who played on Austin Double Wide together, and then really capitalize on that chemistry that might already be built in.
It's easier in the second year, too.
Definitely. Nashville with the disc in the center of the field. Avello. He finds Wright. Back to Waldron. Up the line, cut there to Lindsay. Lindsay's looking dumb. Ends up going upfield with the strike from Waldron. And a diving grab. That is completed. A whistle, though, on the play. Foul called. So Wright will now take it on the center of the goal line, guarded by Jake Anderson. Now there's a double team. Matt Bennett kind of trying to put some pressure but not stay too far away. Waldron finds Phillipson in the end zone. And Dallas and Nashville are trading points right now.
I mean, Nashville's doing a good job. They set up an end zone offense there, ended up with a guy isolated on the front of the stack. Dallas took a little bit of a risk with their double team on the front, but I mean, sometimes defenses take risks like that. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't.
And Wright really had a great grab outside the end zone and then was set up with the foul call to get better field positioning. But it's that kind of grit that you really need to make those just kind of little, more spectacular plays to really stay in a game like this.
Keeping the intensity up. It's easy to do early. How they maintain it's going to be how they end up in the game, basically.
Right.
Hey, where is the trainer?
So now Xavier Payne with the disc to pull for Nashville. Dallas O-line set up. Dallas setting up in a side stack. Ben Laurie with that first initiation cut. Malachek finds him. Big fake finds Jay Frood on the far sideline. Taps it in. Over to Frood, to Malachek.
Go, Javi, go!
And overthrown to Dylan Freechild, so that is a turnover. Payne picks it up for Nashville, brings up the big huck. Ben Laurie guarding, and with the block on Cardin.
It's great positional defense. I mean, he maintained in front of the disc the entire time. It's just so hard to get it over a guy that way.
And great closing speed there, too. Malachek picks up for Dallas. Looks like another backhand force to Dylan Freechild. Freechild to Dalton Smith. Swings around to Laurie.
Let's back, Colin.
Laurie with the OI to Malachek. Malachek launches a big flick huck to Casey Hogg, and that is D'd by Blake Waldron. Is that Waldron? No, that is Ortiz.
Here we go, Phil, with your legs, boys.
Great defense from Javier Ortiz. Now Nashville has another chance. On with the big grab.
Good, Javi under.
He finds Downs, right back to On. And a hand block by Dalton Smith.
Dallas defense constantly being heads up there. Got a little caught up with switches, but at the same time, Dalton knows where the play is going.
Freechild and Malachek, little give and go. Finds Dalton Smith. Freechild striking deep and closes in for that score. Dallas says, let's end this point.
I mean, a really big thing to notice about Dallas's offense, they really isolate guys in space. They have tons of speed, tons of athleticism, and their timing is really good too. So if they just stay out of each other's way, essentially, like, they'll get open. So.
And I think that's something that a lot of younger or newer players don't think about. Yes, you need to go into the open space, but creating space is just as important. It sets up those other opportunities for your teammates.
Yeah, a lot of players get stuck in their early careers overcutting. They just constantly run as hard as possible constantly. They end up really tired and never getting open. So Dallas is a very good example of running at the right time, exactly how much you need.
Matt Bennett now with the pull for Dallas. Now Nashville working it up the field. Layout bid by Bennett. Avello still catches it. Huck now goes up. Travel called.
Receiver travel called on number 8, Patrick Dougherty.
Travel called on Dougherty, which is a yardage penalty. It is not a turnover.
No more thrower turnovers.
10 yards.
Boom.
Nashville still on offense.
Yeah, boy.
And finds a little bobble catch there, Avello in the end zone.
Ties the game up at 3 apiece.
Definitely an issue for Dallas's defense in terms of increasing their intensity to try and match. They talked about coming out flat, and I feel like their offense is doing a good job of keeping composure but also having really strong cuts in open space. The defense right now is playing off. They're not really providing too much pressure, and Nashville is thankfully getting comfortable with that for them, but at the same time, Dallas needs to ramp up the intensity if they want to start getting breaks in this game.
Definitely a good point there. 5:39 left in the first quarter. Waldron now to pull for Nashville.
It can help us filter through and be confident.
And the pull goes up. Casey Hogg back again to catch for Dallas. Quick dish to Malachek. Now over to Smith, back to Malachek. Swings it across to Hogg. Malachek finds Ben Laurie. Ben Laurie puts up a floating flick, finds Dylan Freechild in the end zone.
Kind of a junky zone look there on that defense. And I mean, all credit to Nashville as far as their defensive looks, like showing something new constantly. You know, you want to kill the initiation plays that Dallas is setting up really well. You want to be forcing them backhands when I'll be first-hand account. Dylan Freechild, Jimmy Mickle, Brandon Malachek, the throwers for Dallas have monster flick hucks. Like they have monster throws with the forehand force. So you force them backhand, and now they're going to have to break your mark if they want to throw that monster shot. So they also have good backhands as well, but it's maybe not necessarily the thing they throw all the time.
And I think that is important to kind of give that unexpected look. So now Dallas is up by 1, 5:16 left. Pretty quick point there, less than a minute. Payne now. And Waldron looking for that dish. Trying to get it out of the end zone there. Now Carden still right along that goal line, that scary area, really. Payne now, big flick huck. Ben Bro with the extension, double covered for the score. And Nashville keeps answering back. We're tied at 4.
A bit more of the same, but coming out flat one. Now you saw the double coverage there with Coach Patrick Everly peeling off his man to help deep, and that's just field awareness, seeing that, oh, my guy's possibly getting deep, I need to come help. But at the same time, he got his back turned and whatnot, thinking, oh, maybe that throw's not actually coming up. But Nashville is proving that they're going to take the shot, and they got guys that can run it down too. So,
that was a great cut from Bro.
Yeah, it was a great throw. To lead a guy going that fast, outrunning some of these faster athletes. It was an impressive play on both sides.
So Dallas O-line back on the field again. Matt Slater-Gallen to pull for Nashville.
You can see, yeah. That's why I'm trying to use my hat a little bit. It's like, because right in here is where it gets.
Casey Hogg catching it for Dallas to Malachek. Malachek looks backhand. Ends up finding Jay Frood. Quick swing over to Dalton Smith. Smith now to Freechild. Freechild motioning an undercut. Ends up finding Ben Laurie. Laurie now on the near sideline. Nice flick over the top of Jay Frood. There was a whistle on the play.
Defender seems confused, thinks he might be...
Integrity rule. Jay Frood says no foul there. I think it looked a little too over his head to really be catchable, I think, to be considered a foul.
It was good positional defense, so Jay coming over the top of him, and it's hard to foul a guy that's coming over the top of you.
Slater.
That being said, Jay is really good at coming over the top of players to get D's. So.
And that's a block from Jay Frood. Nationwide Overspray Defensive Player of the Week.
For good reason.
Malachek now picks up, finds Ben Laurie. Laurie now to Freechild. Freechild, big backhand. Jimmy Mickle in the deep space, double covered. Jimmy just picks that right out of the air.
That's really just one of Jimmy's great qualities. When he is going deep and he can size up a throw, he's very good at using his footwork, getting a good time jump, and just snagging it over people, even if they are close to it. He's very good at reading when and where to attack with this.
It's a great throw from Dylan Freechild as well.
Told you they have really good backhands too, but
go figure.
You can't just expect them not to take the shot.
Right. So 3:20 left in the first quarter. Dallas 5, Nashville 4. Nashville keeping it close.
Trading points so far.
They are. Matt Bennett to pull again for Dallas. Lots of hang time on that pull. Nashville lets it drop to the ground. Waldron picks up, double teamed. He finds open Doherty. Quick dishes now. Barnhart throws into traffic. Zach Riggins with that interception. Chris Larberg now to Reed Bacon. Finds Ben Lewis. Quick dish over to Larberg. Larberg taps it in. Holleran now in the middle of the field. Back to Bennett. Little strike and go movement there between Holleran and Bennett. Now to Riggins upfield. Bennett catches in stride. And the scoober over the top, but just out of the reach of Reed Bacon.
Sometimes Bennett does catch his own players off guard with his predictability.
Didn't even take 1 quarter, I should say, to get that scoober. Bennett with the layout bid does not get it. Avello just outside the end zone. Dishes it over to Wright, and Wright with the score. And now it's 5-5.
Still trading points. Nashville doing a very good job there after Dallas had their turnover of not wasting any time at all. Get on the ball, find the next guy, initiate your cuts, and you caught one of the Dallas guys in transition, just not paying attention because he was still kind of down about the turn.
And that transition defense, so crucial, like you said. And Paul, you practiced with Dallas last season. So what have you even seen from being in the practices to, what you've seen on the field this year?
I mean, at practice, they constantly emphasize, bring up the intensity as much as possible as practice squad and for the team and whatnot. The practice should be at least as challenging as the game. So hopefully we do them justice in that regard, but at the same time, they have to bring themselves up for game day.
Definitely. So the Dallas offense back on the field again. Hogg to Malachek. Nashville playing the lanes. Malachek finds Mickle. Mickle now to Freechild. To Malachek to Frood. And Ben Laurie, unguarded, tracks that down for the score.
Ben Laurie on the goal, assisted by Dalton Smith.
See another either junk zone or lane poach type of defense from Nashville, just really trying to play lanes, kill off initiations and whatnot. And they're getting kind of caught on their heels after Dallas is comfortable dumping the disc, comfortable swinging it across the field. And, I mean, if you get out of position, eventually that poach defense, that sag defense, zone, whatever, has to break down and you have to find a guy because they're too close to the goal. You can't cover the space anymore. Nashville, unfortunately, unable to do that over the past few defensive looks that they've thrown.
And then Ben Laurie really taking advantage of that opportunity. He stayed on the field to play with the D-line. Matt Jackson is on the field to play for Dallas. Of course, in the 4th week since the surgery on his arm. Pull in the back of the end zone. Slater Gallen now with the disc. Now to Ortiz. Ortiz double covered, but manages to get that out of there. Travel called. And actually, it was out of bounds. Bro caught it out of bounds. Quickly looked for Ortiz, but that's actually a turnover. Matt Bennett going to pick up for Dallas. Jesse Schaffner guarding Dylan Freechild, the two Oregon classmates matching up on each other. Matt Hudspeth now with the disc. Laurie now on the far sideline. Swings around to Freechild. Freechild, big up and around. Jake Anderson with that big extension. Hammer attempt. And finds Matt Hudspeth for the score. Dallas with their first offensive break of the day, I believe.
Defensive break of the day. First break to actually start generating a lead, a sustainable lead.
How about that grab from Jake Anderson? It looked like it was going to be too tall for him.
It's rare that it's too tall for Jake Anderson.
It's
if
true.
there's one thing he knows how to do, it's play big. So stands at least 6'4", has very good ups, coaches basketball for a living. He knows how to play tall.
38.2 seconds left in the first quarter. Dallas up by 2. It's 7-5. Jimmy Mickle with the disc to pull for Dallas. Lots of hang time. Waldron lets that sit in the air. Goes to Phillipson. Phillipson now to Lindsay. 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Waldron finds Barnhart. Barnhart now to Ray.
Head on the swivel, Barney.
Ray to Wright.
15 seconds. 15 seconds.
Wright fakes out, finds
15
Barnhart.
10 seconds.
Barnhart to Wright. And Nashville scores with 4.6 seconds left in the first quarter. Lindsay with that continuation cut for the score.
And really, I mean, like, it may have become a factor, it may not have. We had several fans from the stands counting down a preemptive finish to the quarter when time had not actually expired. And while it may mess with an offensive player trying to bait them to take a shot, it may also mess with a defensive player thinking, oh, okay, I'm good, the time ran out. Oh, wait, there's still 10 seconds left in the quarter.
That's very true, and you could hear the Nashville sideline yelling the true time that was left, so their team maybe wouldn't get quite as confused as what the crowd is chanting. So now Matt Slater-Gallen to pull, 4.6 seconds left. Not quite the standard O-line on for Dallas. But some throwers and some athletes. I guess that kind of sums up Dallas in general, but
That's a monster pull.
Have to be adept.
With the noticeably not hammer pull.
Mickle now launches his flick huck. And almost caught by Ben Laurie. But Hardesty says, no thank you.
And it was good for Nashville to be aggressive on that D. Like, make sure that you have a guy making a play on the disc, no matter where it happens to be. And even if you're outnumbered, you have to make a play on that disc. Because you saw Jay Fruit may have been able to get up and try and greatest it, infield greatest, as happened to Dallas last year during the championship weekend.
Right.
To actually save the point at the end of the after time as it expired.
So at the end of one quarter, Dallas is up 1 over Nashville, 7-6. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll be back for the second quarter of play.
The Dallas Roughnecks.
Dallas takes possession, looking for the tie. And it was hit off the hands of Chris Larberg and caught by Zach
What does the most experienced advertising agency look like? Miller's senior staff brings an average of 18 years of experience to each meeting. 18 years. We know what works and what doesn't. Media and digital plans based on proven past performance. Creatives that sell first and never worried about awards or accolades. An account service that can lead your business based on 18 plus years of success. Our team is ready to join your team.
We're back at the Colony 5-Star Sports Complex for the second quarter of play, the Dallas Roughnecks versus the Nashville NightWatch. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emmy Fitzgerald alongside Paul Burt in the booth. And Paul, is this what you expected in the first quarter? Trading points, Dallas with up one break.
You know, as much as it's not necessarily what people expected, I can't necessarily say that I'm surprised it's possible. Like, I think too many people wrote this game off. Really, too many people have been writing this game off, and hopefully Dallas is not writing it off, at least anymore. You know, like we talked about coming out flat. We talked about respecting your opponent and playing as intense as you can. You know, if you can win this game by a lot, then do it. Prove your point. And so far, they're not generating as much defense as they wanted to. We'll see how that plays out throughout the rest of the game. Nashville, again, came out extremely intense in the beginning of the game, but at the same time, sometimes that can wear on you more. Fatigue can play in because you're just so amped the entire time. hopefully they can keep their composure and keep playing well. But we'll see how it goes.
And Nashville to start on offense in the second quarter. So they get the disc first. And a lot of times opponents, especially when you're on the road, will come out and be kind of antsy and maybe have not the smoothest play to start the game. Nashville has really kept their composure, taken advantage of opportunities, and really given them different looks for Dallas to kind of adjust to. So the pull is up. Waldron receives for Nashville. He dishes it to Phillipson. Back to Waldron. Back to Phillipson. Swinging around to Doherty. Lindsay now kind of working it up in the center of the field. Avello looking for the next target, trying to look dump. Throws it to space. Doherty puts it up, and Jake Anderson appeared to slip, got the D, and now is on the ground holding his knee. Official timeout called.
Did not look like he was necessarily on balance when he made his jump to make that play. And all acrobatic athleticism, aside, sometimes the landing is the hard part.
And it looked like their feet got tangled up a little bit there in that defensive effort. Dr. Chris Miller, the official doctor for the Roughnecks, is coming down on the field. I think we're going to take a quick break while the medical staff is examining Jake, and we will be back after this.
I loved that you guys talk about cancer awareness, and it's more about body awareness and knowing their own bodies.
And I think Eric is a wonderful way to bring this into school. That you come with a complete program.
The information is good. It's presented in a very professional way. The instructors do an excellent job.
I think the kids overall had a great time. I can see from their responses that they wanted us to get some more ultimate discs in the school, and that we'll be playing all the way into the spring and summer.
We really appreciated you coming out. We love the message you guys send.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Eric, for coming out to the Pittsburgh area. It's a great experience for our kids.
Thank you for sharing your message with the kids. We really appreciate the energy that you've brought, and I really encourage anybody else who might be interested in this program to bring them on in.
And we're back on the field where teammates and Dr. Chris Miller have helped Jake Anderson off the field. He's trying not to keep weight on his knee. We can go ahead and take another look at that play. Actually, we're going to go back to live play. We may take a look at that a little bit later in the broadcast. Dallas on offense. Dalton Smith now with the disc. Finds Matt Hudspeth in the center of the field. Now to Holleran. Streaking Ben Lewis. Holleran motioning. Come back under. Matt Jackson underneath. Playing left-handed. Holleran and Bennett. Bennett now the backhand to Dalton Smith. Dalton Smith with the big OI flick. Looking for Ben Lewis. Ben Lewis catches him right outside the end zone. Nashville peels off Hollerin now. Handler movement there to Bennett. Bennett puts to space to Dalton Smith.
Dalton Smith on the goal, assisted by Matt Bennett.
And that's another break for Dallas. Up 8-6, 10:29 left in the second.
And kind of a different tone to just the play on that particular point. Like the first break that Dallas got was a bit more, it felt a bit rushed. It felt a bit high intensity, but at the same time, maybe they were taking a shot that they didn't want to. Even though Dalton swings the disc big wide around the field to Lewis. Lewis is open by 20 yards, right? He finds an easy shot. He finds an open space. And it was way more composed that time.
And really doing a great job using that full field with lots of handler movements, lots of swings. Matt Bennett now with the pull.
Yeah, so when we go to visual index,
the disc
we got to
for the pull, I should say. A little bit of breeze picking up here as the sun's setting. Payne on the field. Bro picks up to Waldron. Finds on double covered. Works it back up to Doherty. To Ortiz. Ortiz throws the hook to Carden. Carden with that spike celebration. Nashville answers pretty quickly, only down by 1, 8-7 Dallas. A little over 10 minutes left in the second quarter.
The receiver did a really good job there of really playing his game. Talked about controlling the controllables pre-game. That receiver, he's a bit of a stockier guy, a strong guy, right? And Larberg is a great leaper. He's a great fast guy as the defender, but he got bodied out by a stronger offensive receiver who maintained position on him. So they're doing a good job of controlling the controllables that they talked about. Even if the Huck hung a little bit more than they may have wanted, he played well to receive it.
Certainly made a great adjustment there. Now Matt Slater-Gallen with that pull. Casey Hogg catches the pull for Dallas. Centers to Malachek. Mickle with that great plant and undercut. Nice. Outside in flick to Freechild. Freechild backhand to Laurie. Laurie looking. A little quick give and go between Freechild to Malachek. Typical Freechild style. His third goal of the night. Dallas 9, Nashville 7.
And that's just one of the things about Freechild. It's like you can be within a yard of him and you're probably not even close enough yet. He's very quick, changes directions very often, and he's always looking at the next throw after he's already let it go. Like, he is a guy that keeps you on your toes constantly.
Probably literally. I think it would be very, very difficult to guard a player like Freechild because he is so unpredictable.
Right, and we noticed that Schaffner was guarding Freechild on a previous point or whatnot, and I actually thought she may be one of the most apt Nashville players to do that because she played with him, went to school with him, knows him, and she's kind of a quick player herself.
Very agile.
As much leeway as she was giving him, she knows what he wants to do.
Bennett now with the pull for Dallas. Doherty now to Waldron. Double covered. Swings around to right.
Good. Whoa.
Jake Wright now to Lindsay. Barnhart stays with Phillipson. Swings around to Doherty. To Waldron. And back of the end zone, manages to toe and stay in bounds. Zach Avello with the score. 9-8 Dallas, 9:16 left in the second quarter.
Feels almost like the Dallas defense there was somewhat second-guessing themselves. We talked about bringing up the intensity of the defense or whatnot and like playing, more on your guy. And they seem to expect a lot of break mark throws coming from Nashville, but often enough that ended up they overplayed break side and Nashville got open force side. They were forcing towards the forehand side, which is where the score happened. So
maybe almost a little bit of overcompensation there, right, anticipating those breaks. Xavier Payne now with the disc to pull for Nashville. The wind is picking up more. It is noticeable.
Significant.
And the pull lands out of bounds on that far sideline. Brandon Malachek going to pick up for Dallas.
Let's go, what?
He brings to the brick mark.
Big D's, Danny. Use D's, Danny.
Malachek to Hogg. Hogg dishes it back to Malachek.
Yeah, Colin.
Great break around to Jimmy Mickle. Mickle, you see him wind up, and to Dylan Freechild. Freechild right outside the goal. Finds Jay Fruit in the end zone.
Here we go, watch. Jay Fruit on the goal, assisted by Dylan Freechild.
That's 10 Dallas, Nashville 8. You see that wind up from Jimmy, and you know it's coming.
And the funny thing is, you know it's coming before he ever even gets the disc. Like when the disc is coming to Jimmy, you know, oh my gosh, there's probably a 60% chance they're giving Jimmy a look to throw that throw. And like I said, we talked about earlier, he's one of the guys on Dallas, Malachek, Freechild. They have just bomb forehand shots, and you just have to be prepared for that. Dylan read it really well, had to get it over a guy, but at the same time, Nashville has to be honoring that, and if they don't, they're going to get caught off guard.
And great break from Malachek. That flick around to set up Jimmy in that power position there. Matt Bennett now to pull for Dallas. The pull goes up, just under 9 minutes left in the first half here in the Colony, Texas, as the sun is setting. Gallen to Schaffner. Schaffner to Doherty. Doherty now to Ortiz. Ortiz around to Gallen. Schaffner with the throw inside to Doherty. Now to Ortiz. Ortiz dumps it back to Gallen. And Gallen calls down.
I didn't have a good shot at it, but the sun was blowing it out.
Freechild now behind the disc for Dallas. To Larberg. Larberg finds Ben Lewis. Ben Lewis back to Larberg. To Bacon. Leading pass to Larberg. Larberg with the extension reception. Ben Lewis double covered. Larberg instead looks around, finds Zach Riggins, who finds Reed Bacon for the score.
Reed Bacon on the goal, assisted by Zach Riggins. That's a rough
great quick movement.
Yeah, but Larberg specifically just being assertive on that point, right? Like, I'm going to take this point into my hands, and we need to up the intensity, up the pace of when we get a D and have offense keep these guys on their heels, because they're probably down about having a turnover, just like we've been caught doing earlier this game. And honestly, typically Larberg doesn't do those throws upfield. He typically doesn't do every other pass, but at the same time, he saw an opportunity and capitalized on it.
And that is really taking what your defense is giving you. If he sees maybe he has a good matchup, or whatever that pace of the play is, really taking advantage of it. Malachek now to pull.
I think people are just more used to being able to go.
Doherty catches for Nashville to Waldron. Waldron winds up looking for right downfield with the sky grab. Fakes around, finds Avello right outside the end zone. Nashville really trying to be patient here. Phillipson now to Waldron. And right.
Yeah, take right.
Using his body for that catch.
Maybe not the prettiest scoring shot, but practical. And he made the play when he needed to make the play.
A goal is a goal. Nashville keeping it interesting. Just down by 2 with 7:16 left in the second quarter.
We talked about that wind picking up as well. That may have been a little bit of a difference factor between, this would have been a totally clean shot, 1 quarter ago, as opposed to now. It's a little bit more wind. Might have gusted on him as he let it go. Caught the thrower off guard. But again, the receiver played it well, was open, and made the play when he needed to.
He was going to catch that disc. Xavier Payne now to pull for Nashville. Casey Hogg back to catch the pull. Centers it to Malachek. Malachek finds Mickle on the far sideline. Mickle now swings to Malachek. Looking for options. Dalton Smith to Casey Hogg. Using that full field. And Jay Frood really had to have a reach and grab to catch it, but had some contact there with Danny on.
Looks like potentially his shoulder, possibly.
I think there was a bit of a poach defense situation there. I think On was going for that D. Jay Frood with the closing speed. On taking an injury, says to Jay, "You're big."
And that's taking those risks, right? I mean, he was almost in position to get that play, and Jay had to make a play to actually catch that disc with that poach.
So Jay Frood now with the disc for Dallas. Finds Mickle up line.
Go around, Grant.
Mickle to Freechild. Strike by Mickle. Mickle now with the backhand to Frood in the back of the end zone for the goal.
Jay Frood on the goal, assisted by Jimmy Mickle.
Jay's third goal of the game. Now Dallas will take a 3-point lead with about 6.5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, you just see the handler work between Jimmy and Dylan and just progressing up the sideline. I'm pretty sure that may have been the break sideline as well.
It was. I think you're right.
When you get those strike passes up, it's hard for a defense to recover the mark and just send the disc back to the other side of the field. So all the defenders in a row, 1, 2, 3, caught out of position because they're playing on the side that they're supposed to be playing on. It's just how can you recover your defense is whether you get the or whether they score.
Takes a lot of control too with the throws up that sideline as well, with all the strike cuts, not throwing a laser, overthrowing your opponent or your teammate, but also making it very difficult for a D there. Dallas now with the pull, and the pull, the first pass by Bro is incomplete.
Give the ball to the turf monster.
So Bennett now, quick dish to Larberg. Larberg with his little twinkle toes.
He's also very good at placement on his receptions, knowing when he is and is not in bounds. Bennett is just so dangerous on the goal line. You never actually know even what hand he's going to use to throw the throw. It could be any throw from either hand, either side of his body. You don't really know. So, all credit to the mark there, doing as best they can. But Bennett will find a hole somewhere.
Whether it's upside down, it's a good point. Whether right hand, left hand, upside down, right side up. They're all right side up.
Yeah, that throw for the goal, I think, was a left-handed offhand throw.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Dallas takes their largest lead of the night by 4. 6:15 left to go in the first half. And Larberg fast down on the pull. First one there.
Let's go. You're deep. You're too deep.
Waldron now with the disc for Nashville. Riggins closing in on Wright, but Wright manages to catch that disc. Swings around for Waldron. Waldron keeps it alive.
Back to Jay. Too deep.
Back to Doherty. Up the line strike, but Ben Lewis is there. Matt Bennett now.
Come on, kid.
Sees Chris Larberg, but a block from Phillipson.
A little too conscious about his placement there. Didn't realize there was a defender closing in.
Clear that open side and open it up.
Now Nashville has another chance to score, but they have to work up most of the field to do so. Up the line strike, but can't be caught. Bennett now saying, slow it down. Let's just all take it, get it under control here. He picks up for Dallas. Riggins with the strike cut. Catches it right outside the end zone. Looks for Reed Bacon, but actually finds Bennett. Bennett with the blade to Bacon, just out of reach.
Just saw an opportunity, and sometimes you really shouldn't throw that thumb or blade for the goal. I don't want to tell Matt Bennett not to throw the throw. He wants to throw at the time, but at the same time.
But you could tell also that Reed Bacon really wanted to catch that. He kind of hit the ground. And
he also really didn't expect it necessarily until it was in the air.
Such as playing with Matt Bennett. Nashville now another chance on offense. Phillipson to Waldron. Back around to Doherty. Now Wright closes in.
Nice, Patrick Lindsay. Nice, Jake. Yeah, Pat.
Right to Lindsay. Lindsay to Barnhart. Barnhart on the near sideline. Phillipson thought he might be in, but just on the goal line. Swings off the line back to Barnhart. Barnhart now to Wright. And Matt Jackson, I think he probably would have bid in another situation.
You could see it on his face.
Instead, Zach Avello gets his third goal of the game.
13-10 Dallas. 4-13.
So we spoke with Matt Jackson before the game, and pretty frank, Matt, why are you playing? You had surgery not that long ago. And Matt said he actually has about 90% of his range of motion, and his surgeon, Dr. Chris Miller, said, keep doing what you're doing. Yes. Do what you have done. Don't put weight-bearing activities on that right arm.
Yeah, don't strain yourself too much, but Matt, said himself, well, this is what I normally do, so I should just keep playing the game.
So he's here, but he is playing left-handed. He's not even trying to pancake catch. But if you know Matt, he's the heart and soul of this team. Now Dallas on offense. Malachek to Casey Hogg. Hogg back to Malachek. Swings it around to Mickle. Over the top to Freechild. Freechild to Frood. Finds Dalton Smith coming underneath. Dalton Smith with the hammer. Freechild open in the back of the end zone.
Give the hammer assist to Dalton Smith.
Seems a lot more of Nashville playing a lane, playing a zone, but getting caught out of position. Dallas has too many veteran players that will find a space you haven't covered, that will sneak behind you. If you are not paying attention and constantly communicating with each other, Dallas is going to find a guy that is in the backfield and you didn't realize he was there.
And they have that toolkit of every throw.
Well, certainly Dalton. He's going to take a lot of throws that other players may not even think about. And he takes after Bennett in some ways.
All up there at the merch tent. You know you want some.
Matt Bennett now to pull for Dallas.
All right, that's fine. Fine. Okay, still patient.
We're good.
Jamming in.
Schaffner now catches the pull for Nashville.
Come on, Jack.
Finds Gollin. Gollin with the over the top. Working it up the middle of the field. Hardesty with the big huck. Can't stay in bounds.
Great idea, Corey. Let's get it
That
back.
pass was intended for Cam Snook. Instead, finds our end zone camera tower.
Yeah, he had about 20, 25 more yards of width to throw that throw to and decided he'd try and outpace the defender, putting it long. Didn't end up working out for him.
Bennett now with the disc for Dallas. Dishes it over to Laurie. Quick put back to Bennett. Great pivots from Bennett and bobble. Lori with the bobble on the goal line. See if Nashville can take advantage. And sky-high grab from Corey Hardesty.
Just unfortunate. It's one of those things. A good thing about Dallas that we've seen throughout the game is they are very comfortable with their resets, so they never feel like they have to throw up field. Unfortunately there for Ben Laurie, he felt very comfortable with his reset and was thinking about the next throw before he actually caught the pass coming to him. Happens to a lot of players throughout their careers, and he'll pick it back up.
It does happen. 2:45 left in the first half. Dallas is up by 3. Doherty now to pull. Excuse me, Waldron to pull for Nashville. That pull hanging on the far sideline, ends up landing out of bounds.
And so there are a few Nashville pulls flying out of bounds to that side of the field, the wind generally pushing that way.
Malachek now taking it to the brick mark in the center of the field. First cut to Jimmy Mickle. Freechild going deep. Mickle finds him. Freechild about 5 yards outside the end zone. And Casey Hogg with that cut for the score. That's his first goal of the game. Dallas is up by 4, 2:28 left in the first half.
Another laser shot from Jimmy Mickle on the around break mark there. That's really one of the more impressive things about him. We talk about his windup on his flick and how much range he has and how clean his throw is, but the bigger thing that I constantly recognize about Jimmy is breaking marks. Like when you force him backhand or when you force him flick, he will reach so far out and get around so many marks. And you know,
that
thankfully
shimmy,
Dylan has played enough with him to know that's coming.
Oh my gosh, seriously, the shimmy fake and then the step out.
Yeah, it's mesmerizing. It really is.
So powerful. It is mesmerizing.
That
it
shimmy.
really is. That mesmerizing shimmy. Matt Bennett now with the pull for Dallas. Waldron back to receive for Nashville. Payne now back to Waldron. Big Hut goes up. Ortiz tries to lay out for it, just out of reach. Jason Holleran now with the disc. Finds Matt Bennett. Matt Bennett kind of looking for that dump option. Finds his compadre, Dalton Smith. Smith now to Lewis, to Holleran. Holleran with the flick. Not quite a receiver.
Definitely
there.
looked like they weren't on the same page. I don't think Larberg was expecting that throw to go.
I don't think so either. Nashville now picking up.
Go, Javi!
Yes.
Cardin with that reception stays in bounds. Now on the sideline, strike up the field. And a hammer to Ben Lewis. You think Ben Lewis is going to catch it? Nah.
Let's go, baby.
It looked like the throw was just so keyed in on his receiver, he didn't realize there was a defender standing in the lane.
Right there. Dalton
We
Smith
haven't called one the whole half. We might as well get
finds Reed Bacon. Bacon now to Lewis. Lewis dishes quick to Dalton Smith.
1 minute to play in the half.
Swings over to Holleran. Across the field. Now to Larberg. Finds Riggins on the far sideline. And Riggins calls a timeout. 48.9 seconds in the first half. Dallas is up by 4. Calls a timeout.
A very veteran move by Zach Riggins there. Not just because they weren't necessarily, moving the disc well or finding easy open shots, but a lot of the receivers that would be his opportunities were out of position. So recognizing the play, knowing that Dallas has the opportunity to take the timeout, get the O-line on, have a play call. Excellent goal.
Now if you're Dallas, do you make subs? Do you change up who you put on the field?
I do believe that you make some substitutions, especially when you have such strong throwers as Jimmy or Malachek or Freechild or whatnot that will generate that first look, especially since you're on a sideline and you're likely going to see some kind of defensive risk take, some double team coming out of a timeout to just throw you off of whatever you were trying to set up. So you likely take a substitution and set yourself up for success for the initiation.
And I think you were right on the money with that call, Paul, because lo and behold, Brandon Malachek is in the game, picks up the disc on the far sideline for Dallas. He has Jimmy Mickle and Casey Hogg joining him at the handler set. It appears the O-line is now on the field trying to set up in scoring position in a horizontal stack formation. Malachek swings it off the line, centers it to Mickle. Mickle with the backhand, looking for Laurie. Laurie goes up a little too early.
Very good positional defense by him, pulling off his guy or his area to help out.
Doherty now picks up for Nashville. Clock's at about 25 seconds left. A little bit of handler movement in the end zone. Schaffner open underneath, and a timeout called by Nashville with 14.1 seconds left.
Generally the same principle. May have wanted that timeout with a few more seconds on the clock, but at the same time, your line is a little flustered. The people you have on the field don't necessarily know what the play call is. Take the timeout. You have it for the half. Get yourself set up for initiation. You have enough time to take 2-3 passes, get down the field before you have to take a shot. This sets themselves up for success far better.
Definitely so. It appears Dallas is going to keep the same players on. Certainly a strong set. Actually, Jason Holleran and Reed Bacon have subbed on the field.
Well, I mean, main thing to notice about Dallas keeping their line they currently have on, the average height of that line is over 6 feet tall. There's 14 seconds left in the half, and they know that a shot is probably coming, so they have a few shorter guys that will play aggressive on the mark, and they definitely have height and players that play tall and big in the deep space.
I think that is a sound strategy there.
I think we all did.
Waldron with the disc for Nashville. Dalton Smith on the mark. Nashville set up in a vertical stack. Jimmy Mickle with that last back, playing a little bit of over-under defense there, playing the lanes. Finds right, 8 seconds left, 5 seconds left. Over and around. Turnover, and that's the end of the first half. Dallas is up by 4. We will be back with the second half of play. In the meantime, please enjoy the top 10 plays of the week. Little clip on Stanley Peterson. We swoon for Stanley here at the Roughnecks. We're excited to bring you the second half. Dallas Roughnecks versus Nashville NightWatch on DallasRoughnecks.com.
One. Emmons turns on the Jets, and he got it! Dan Emmons, are you kidding me?
How's your hamstring now?
up. And they immediately take a shot. Look at the vision, but look at the play by Pettit Scantling.
Pushing it into the end zone for Walsh to get it. Unbelievable.
Telegraphed.
Huge huck into double coverage.
That's not going to happen.
And a big layout. And it.
No way.
It's. Oh. They're caught.
No.
They are signaling it a goal.
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable catch from DeClercq.
I think that's Brian Schoenrock, 16.
You're absolutely right, Hector. Schoenrock. I mean, who else would have the length here? We see if we can get an angle on it from this.
Oh my gosh!
Can't really see him make the catch there, but
play hockey.
Number 8 Ultimate Disc League action. I call that the frisbee. Brian Schoenrock laying out. Oh,
goodness, what a play!
Nabs that before it hits the ground. Because gravity is cruel. You want to talk about a saucy pass, right? Did that one in the early on in that game for the.
Is that a drone or a jib?
The Ducks, but that was excellent. And you can bring dogs on the sideline.
To defray the costs associated with running the league, and when Nationals was held in Frisco, she planned and ran the food for all volunteers and employees alike. Becky is a fan of the people, the smiles, the friendship, and really is the epitome of what the spirit of the game is all about. We're honored to present the 2017 Big Jim Spirit Award to Becky Burnside for her dedication and passion to the sport. Let's hear it for Becky.
One more big round of applause for our Hall of Fame inductees and Becky Burnside, winner of the Jim Garrisher Big Jim Spirit Award. And now let's direct your attention to the north and south end zones. Yep. North and south end zones, where the Lucas Warcats are going to scrimmage. They've been volunteering.
I think the chewing is just, it's just what I do. It gets me in the zone. Like if you see me chewing, you know I'm locked in and I'm ready to play. I think it first happened when I got this one piece of clothing my freshman year at Colorado. And it was just a little too big and it felt right to just grab it. And then it turned into me just chewing on it constantly. And so now it's just a deep V. And yeah, that's all it is. People give me a lot of flack for it, but I think the hardest part is just trying to get rid of a jersey when you're trying to trade it to someone and they look at it and it's like chewed all the way around the front of it. It's like no one really wants that, you know? So I just kind of have a lot of jerseys laying around that I can't get rid of, but whatever. I like it.
this piece with Eric is amazing to me. It's right in line with what we think is critical for kids, and that is to know their bodies.
The kids have really gotten into having speakers here that aren't just their teachers.
And I think the clinicians did a fantastic job. All the kids were engaged, none of them were distracted. They seemed to get into it right away.
I just want to reach out to Eric and tell him, thank you for coming and sharing the message that our kids can speak up. Early recognition is critical, and I look forward to doing more things with Eric in the future.
It's been great for us as a staff and for our students to experience the message you guys have, and highly recommend it for any school that has the opportunity.
Dallas takes possession, looking for the tie. And it was hit off the hands of Chris Larberg and caught by Zach
Yeah, I loved that you guys talk about cancer awareness, and it's more about body awareness and knowing their own bodies.
And I think Eric is a wonderful way to bring this into school. You come with a complete program.
The information is good. It's presented in a very professional way. The instructors do an excellent job.
I think the kids overall had a great time. I can see from their responses that they want us to get some more ultimate discs in the school, and that we'll be playing all the way into the spring and summer.
We really appreciated you coming out. We love the message you guys send.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Eric, for coming out to the Pittsburgh area. It's a great experience for our kids.
Thank you for sharing your message with the kids. We really appreciate the energy that you've brought, and I really encourage anybody else who might be interested in this program to bring them on in.
What does the most experienced advertising agency look like? Miller's senior staff brings an average of 18 years of experience to each meeting. 18 years. We know what works and what doesn't. Media and digital plans based on proven past performance. Creatives that sell first and never worried about awards or accolades. An account service that can lead your business based on 18 plus years of success. Our team is ready to join your team.
Twice the Ice is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Roughnecks, with many convenient locations in the area, and just like our name says, we offer twice the amount of ice sold at other stores. Delicious, fresh ice delivered on demand 24/7 in a bag or in your cooler, as Spikezilla demonstrates, or in your bath for those aching muscles. We've always got your ice, and always at a price that beats the competition. Twice as nice. Delivery services are also available. Check us out at besticetogo.com and enjoy the rest of the game.
Early recognition is critical. Teaches middle school PE classes about ultimate frisbee and cancer symptom awareness.
We're a registered nonprofit that advocates for an active, healthy lifestyle, body awareness, and speaking up if something is wrong.
Skills that, when it comes to cancer, can help save a life. Ultimate is a fast-paced team sport that's self-refereed, non-contact, and co-ed.
Spirit of the game is the foundation of Ultimate. That means we communicate respectfully, we're fair-minded, and we enjoy the game.
Ultimate is accessible to everyone. All you need is a frisbee and some friends. Our team of coaches is made up of experienced and passionate leaders from the Ultimate community.
We teach kids that playing fair is more important than winning.
We can come to your middle school and run your PE classes for the day. And if we're not in your area yet, we'll send you our clinic in a box, where we give you the resources to run your own.
Ultimate Frisbee is one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
Teachers and parents love
Ultimate Frisbee. We are Eric!
And we want to work with you and your school.
Welcome back to the the Colony 5-Star Sports Complex, where we're at halftime, the Dallas Roughnecks versus the Nashville NightWatch. Dallas currently has a 4-goal lead out of Nashville. So Paul, first quarter was kind of back and forth, but Dallas pulled away a little bit in the second quarter. What do you expect to see in the second half?
Well,
does anybody else want to enter the Win the Jeep giveaway? Anybody at all? You want to?
Hero shot.
All right, describe the keys to me. Oh, you can't? That means you lose. No Jeep for you.
Turnovers are the few points that Dallas has right now. So they're wasting that game. Dallas cannot be happy with the penalties that they have. They win this game by significant margins. So they need to, again, pick up their intensity.
Riggs just entered the contest and he failed miserably.
We do have an injury update for
you.
Jake Anderson, who went down earlier in the first half. He does have a knee brace on.
All right, welcome back to the second half.
And he will not, the result will not be returning for the rest of the game. Prognosis, of course, is unknown until all of the tests run. But I asked him, Jake, how are you doing? I'm great. Always such a good attitude for Jake Anderson. Dallas now to start on offense. But that throw just out of the reach of Ben Laurie. Now Nashville, midfield. Payne with a hammer over top, but Ortiz cannot complete it.
A guy that was probably open, but a little outside the box. Just taking too many risks on that one.
Now Dallas has another chance here. Ben Laurie, the big backhand. Dylan Freechild in the deep space. He reads it and is just outside the goal line. Dishes it to Casey Hogg. Casey Hogg will get the first goal of the second half. Dallas is up 16-11.
It's another veteran move from Dylan Freechild there. He knows he's not a very tall guy. He can play decently tall, but at the same time, he also knows that if that disc sails, he can keep position on the defender who's trying to be aggressive and get it early, and just make sure the defender can't recover after he tries to make his play. Disc sails a little bit. Dylan gets a free grab.
Really great read from Dylan Freechild there. Good follow from Casey Hogg as well. So even though Dylan was just on the goal line, Dallas can still get that quick score. Matt Jackson on the field for Dallas, giving a lot of pump up, the defensive captain. Matt Bennett with the pull. Nashville now with that handler movement, swings it around. Doherty with the backhand outside in. Avello looking for his options. Ends up going to Gollin. Now to Bro. Bro with the over the top, but Chris Larberg coming out of the air. Reed Bacon looking for Chris. Chris twinkle toes once again. And that is a goal. Bookends for Chris Larberg.
One of those instances where you saw how intense he was getting the D. Reed Bacon also saw it and felt obligated to serve it up for Chris Larberg to try and score that point.
And Chris Larberg again with the twinkle toes. Just great awareness of where he is in relationship in the end zone, but then also catching it. So many people try and get the score that they don't catch it.
Yeah. Not only is Chris a great leaper, he's also a great reacher. And when he establishes, okay, this is the point where I need to stay to be in bounds, reaches and focuses on the catch as he's falling.
Great work there. Now Dylan Freechild with the disc to pull for Dallas. Dallas up by 6. 10:31 left in the third. Beautiful sunset too. Great backdrop here in the Colony for some ultimate disc.
It's at 125 right now.
Double team now. Nashville manages to find its way out of there. Some handler movement.
Hey, keep working, Zach.
Blade around, but that stays up.
Nice and relaxed, watch.
Doherty now to Barnhart. Barnhart launches the backhand, looking for Wright. Wright trying to close in. Dylan Freechild nearby. And that's a no-go.
Hey, good luck, Barney.
And that was a Freechild's man. That is him being heads-up defense and extremely fast to make up that distance.
Now Freechild.
Last back, Barney, last back.
To Frood. Frood bobbles. Says my bad. Now NightWatch in scoring position. Waldron to Phillipson. Phillipson with the fake around to Barnhart. Barney as he's known. Phillipson on the goal line.
Move it.
Swings it back around to Barnhart. Now with the backhand break, Wright with that score. Jake Wright's third goal of the game. 5-goal lead.
Just more, controlling what you can control. They got on that front corner 2-3 different times in that possession. Never felt like they had to just stick it into the front of the end zone. They had a reset, they took it. Eventually Dallas gets sucked over to the far side. They think, oh, we have to guard this front corner. This is the danger zone. Opens up a guy on the break side.
Great backhand break from Barnhart. Good step out there.
Yeah, it's because he's a lefty.
Must be.
Everybody says that's an advantage in Ultimate if you just happen to be left-handed. Well, you just happen to have a leg up on everybody else in the throwing department.
Certainly didn't hurt him. Casey Hogg now back with the pull for Dallas. Around 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Malachek to Mickle. Mickle sees Laurie in the end zone. That's hanging in the air. And Jay Frood picking up the trash.
And to be fair, credit to Nashville on that defense, thinking that Laurie was the threat. Laurie was the intended receiver the entire time. They double-teamed Laurie and got on both sides of his body to make his ability to make that grab almost impossible. However, they lost track of Jay Frood following the play, and he's just going to pick that up if you just ignore him.
And Jay did a great job running to where the disc was going, not necessarily where it was at the time. Good heads-up teamwork there from Dallas. That brings their lead to 6. Just under 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Matt Bennett to pull for Dallas. His signature arm sleeve rolled up. Jesse Schaffner Looked like she was going to recede. Pull actually ends up going to the far side. Centers to Schaffner. She dishes it to Gollin. Hardesty, big look, but just too far ahead of Doherty. Nashville calls a backhand force. Bennett's going to pick up the disc.
Dallas on offense. Nat sleeves of the opposition party.
In a horizontal stack. Bennett breaks around to Hogg. Hogg back to Bennett, back to Hogg. Hogg now looking for Zach Riggins. Zach Riggins catches it in stride. Goes to Ben Lewis. Ben Lewis with that big backhand fake goes back for the backhand to Jason Holleran. Now centers it to Casey Hogg. Casey Hogg with the backhand look to Ben Lewis. And Ben Lewis with the score.
So really well-placed backhand there. Casey's very good at seeing the lane that the disc has to take. It can't be a straight shot in that instance. There's two defenders standing in the path. But you put this nice IO into space that just sits up for Ben. He actually has 5-10 yards on the guy that's supposed to be marking him, and all the other defenders just have to be either behind the play or on the other side of the field. So, well-played throw.
Puts Ben Lewis in great position and brings Dallas's lead 19-19 over Nashville's 12. Just under 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Jimmy Mickle with the disc to pull for Dallas. I believe this 7-point lead is the largest Dallas has held so far this evening. That pull's got a lot of hang time. Nashville lets that fall to the ground. Waldron to pick up. He swings it to Phillipson. Phillipson around to Waldron. Waldron with the flick huck. Right outside, not in. He gets it back to Handler. Little give and go from Nashville. Nashville answers with a score from Barnhart.
We see another puck flying past Dallas's defense after a couple of reset throws by Nashville. We see a lot of switching upfield on the defensive end from Dallas. They end up getting caught out of position about 4 or 5 throws in because they've switched 4 or 5 times, potentially constantly having the cutters go in and out. They keep sneaking past them, and eventually Dallas has to figure that out.
Wright is certainly doing a great job stretching it deep, and then the Nashville throwers taking advantage of that opportunity.
We're talking about following the play, too. Nashville had 4 or 5 guys for him to throw to after catching that throw.
So that narrows the lead to 6. 7:26 left in the third. Xavier Payne with a pull for Dallas. Casey Hogg reading that pull to receive. All that hang time really allowed Nashville to run down hard on the pull, not giving those easy handler movement. Jimmy Mickle now fakes the huck, finds Brandon Malachek instead. Malachek instead with the big huck. You have Jay Frood and Dylan Freechild, and Jay climbing that ladder. Sends it to Dylan Freechild for the score.
And again, we see Nashville double teaming up on Jay as the receiver for this play. We need to make his life really hard. Dylan was sitting behind the plate to get to pick up what might not be caught, but Jay is an excellent leaper and just made that play.
He's got the leaps. Certainly did for that score. And Dylan Freechild following that play for the grab, I should say, and Freechild then for the score. 6:55 left in the third. Dallas 20, Nashville 13. turned into a pretty nice night of ultimate.
Nice temperature, and the breeze, I think, calmed down, too.
It did. Temperatures in the 80s at game time. At halftime, I spoke with Chris Larberg, and he said, man, it was hot. I am just really hot. So now at least it's cooling off a little bit for the team. Avello launches a big backhand. He finds Doherty. That's a quick score for Nashville. Energizes the Nashville sideline.
They're looking for energy and just quick scores, big shots, guys being open by that distance. Those are things that Nashville can feed off of and get back into this game. I believe that was a break side shot. So Dallas is looking at each other a little bit confused after that one. How did he get that throw off? Because he shouldn't be receiving it over there, let alone be able to throw it down the field.
That's true. That was a big backhand there by Nashville. So it's a 6-point lead for Dallas.
You got that right in front.
I don't know that Nashville has gotten a break in this game yet. If they want to actually reestablish the score and get back to being on even footing, they need to get defensive points.
Gosh, and that is so difficult to get multiple breaks against this Dallas offense. Casey Hogg catching the pull. Nashville running down in this zone look. Dalton Smith, hammer over the top. Will it stay in bounds? Out of reach of Ben Laurie.
It's another example of trying to throw a different look at him, and they took a shot they probably shouldn't have.
So you're talking about those offensive breaks. Nashville in a break position if they can convert here. Phillipson and Waldron in the back. Hammer goes up to right. And that pass is completed for a score. That is an offensive break for Nashville.
And I don't think that's the first time this game he has made a very athletic play, getting open and getting a score for the team when they need it.
A very limited number of autographed discs up at the merchandise tent.
So the Dallas O-line stays on the field. The game is within 5. A little more than 6 minutes left in the third quarter. So if you're Dallas, how do you keep the break train from leaving the station?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. People think, oh goodness, we got broken as an offense. But to be fair, these defenses do know what they're doing. They're throwing out different looks. Eventually they're going to get opportunities, and it's very possible your offensive line gets broken and you get scored on. That doesn't mean you throw out the playbook. That doesn't mean you sub off the whole line. You get your composure. You figure out what was the one thing we didn't do right, and you change that for the next point.
Casey Hogg catches the pull. He's able to get it to Malachek, to Mickle. Laurie now with the deep look, but actually comes under with that under reception. And Juan on with the layout D on Dalton Smith. Xavier Payne picking up for Nashville. He finds Grandin. Back to Payne. Payne now over to Waldron. Bro finds on with the good hands. Little give and go on that far sideline from Nashville, looking to swing around. Swings to Bro. Hammer over the top, and there is Jayford. Dallas now back on offense. Mickle with the disc on the far sideline. Centers it to Dalton Smith. He sees Laurie in the center of the field. Laurie now with the big fake. Frew gains a lot of yards. Shoots kind of a laser to Freechild, but Freechild manages to catch that. Mickle with the great fake, but there's Nashville. Another chance on offense. But the double team, it looked like they wanted to call a timeout. The timeout was called prior to the drop. So Nashville will keep the disc out of this timeout. So Nashville has the opportunity for a second consecutive break.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Dallas struggling a little bit with their cuts. I did notice a few times Nashville's defense getting caught if they had just seen positionally they were near a play, if they didn't necessarily, if they actually looked to poach, basically looked to cut off a break mark throw or an angle or whatnot, they've been able to get Ds, or they would have been able to get more Ds in the first half. They're starting to see that more in the second half and actually saying, hey, you know, we can do some switching of our own like Dallas has done. We can play more position defense and team defense, basically, sending somebody over the top so that the people underneath can cut off lanes and break mark throws and kill basically the flow of the play. And they're getting Ds as a result. That poach coming down, Jimmy made the strike cut, had his guy beat. It was another defender that got that D. So.
Great heads-up defense there by Nashville. I believe that was Colin Grandin who had that D. So now one of the Dallas D lines is on the field. Reed Bacon there on the mark. Allows the Dallas O-line to rest up just in case they need to come on the field. At the same time, this Dallas D-line, not one to really be messed with. Matt Slater-Gallen then finds Snook. Snook then to Daugherty. Centers to Schaffner. Schaffner back to Daugherty.
Yes, Pito, keep running that dude.
For Ortiz. Ortiz to Daugherty. Hammer over the top, but Ben Lewis with the block.
Come on, guys.
Another one of those hero shots. Nashville taking these over-the-top looks. That's the second time at this point. You think you have the defense caught off guard, but you might check a second time because you might not.
No big.
Ben Lewis is last back for Dallas. Pat Eberly with the disc. Jason Holleran to Larberg. To Eberly, excuse me. Sees Matt Bennett. Bennett with the big backhand. Zach Riggins bodying out for it. Comes down with that grab. Dishes it to Holleran for the score.
Zach Riggins, an excellent leaper in his own right. Also did really good to maintain position, body position on the defender. Always had the guy sealed out. The defender was going to have to come through and over him to actually make that play. And over Zach Riggins is a rarity at best. So.
Zach's got some ups there. About 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Dallas 29, Nashville 15. And that timeout called by Nashville actually ended up working in Dallas's favor, allowed them to get some defensive substitutions on the field, let those guys do what they do best.
Especially since the offensive line was struggling so much. Defensive line, they tend to have a bit more free-spirited looks and opportunities and whatnot. Maybe they take a risk there. That hook may not have sailed as well as it did, but it worked out.
That D-line stays on the field for Dallas. Matt Bennett with the pull. It's floating, it's floating. It is out.
Maybe if he had some sleeves, that would have landed in bounds.
Nashville now to take it at the brick mark. Waldron for Nashville. Double coverage. But instead, ends up finding Phillipson. Phillipson to Barnhart, back to Phillipson. Over to Lindsay. Lindsay looking to get off the line. Ends up losing a little bit of yardage, maintains possession with Waldron there. Break across the field. Barnhart looking for options. Decides to center it to Avello. Avello now to Phillipson. On the goal line. just out of the reach of Ben Lewis. Patrick Lindsay with that score.
And Nashville again doing a really good job. One of the best things Nashville has done in this game so far is their end zone offense. They've reset, they've used the width of the field. They've scored on the fourth side often, but it's because they drew the defense over to the break side. Those hammer shots coming over the top, they're past the brick mark, they're more than 20, 25 yards away from the end zone. When they get close, they are dangerous, and you need to respect that.
And so much patience from Nashville, not getting too antsy, but they have to complete that right away. So 21-16, Dallas, 2:21 left in the third quarter. Under the lights here in the Colony, Texas. Xavier Payne now with the pull. Casey Hogg, that first reception, centers to Malachek. See if Malachek looks for Frood. Frood with the backhand. Mickle running deep. Mickle looking back and forth and out of reach.
Just one of those long shots that just ends up directly over the receiver's head. So hard to get a read on that. You saw Mickle turn his head 2-3 times while sprinting after it. Hard to keep your balance, and in the end, it just drifted away from him the wrong way.
He had so much speed going into it, but that off balance certainly difficult. Payne now for Nashville. Around to Doherty. Doherty to Payne. Payne to On. On double covered. And Jimmy Mickle with the disc. Looks hammer over the top, sees Dalton Smith. It's a Dallas score. Good heads-up defense from Jimmy Mickle there.
Yeah, Jimmy came in, made the play and whatnot, but you saw that opportunity generated just because Nashville got a little bit antsy. They're sitting in their own end zone trying to have to go 70 yards or more to score, and maybe took a shot just to get it out of my hands that didn't need to actually take.
Jimmy Mickle ends up finding Dalton Smith in the back of the end zone. Good positioning there from Smith. 22-16, minute 10 left in the third quarter. Matt Bennett to pull for Dallas. Schaffner now picks up for Nashville. Gets it to Gollin. Out of reach. Chris Larberg with the interception.
1 minute remaining.
The lefty playing Mac Jackson. In between Riggins, now Jackson.
Later!
Throws the lefty backhand up, and that is blocked, but there is a foul called. Ben Lewis will pick up on the goal line. Centered outside the end zone. Dallas in a vert stack end zone set. Larberg with the shimmy. Ben Lewis is looking for the foul. It's not called. The disc is going up to Phillipson, to Avello actually. And then Avello to Bro. Nashville ends up scoring. Looks like Dallas just didn't really get back on their defense there.
Definitely looked like Ben Lewis was making a case for a call, and he may be well right in believing that that was a foul. It may have even been a foul, but it was one of those cases of this is the pro league where the refs make the calls. You can talk to the other player and make a case for the integrity rule, but it did not look like he was going to take that. So you have to get back and play defense. You do not call your own fouls in this league.
And that's one reason I think the AUDL has refs in the league to keep the game moving. The refs are there to call fouls. The integrity rule is there because we play with spirit of the game. But at the same time, you don't have those long arguments or heated discussions,
yes,
as you will, and sometimes
it
in
does
college.
save a few heated
ultimate.
instances between players as well.
16.1 seconds left in the third quarter. Dallas now on offense. That's just the kind of that out of bounds hot spot.
Yeah, the wind hasn't disappeared. It's not quite as what it got up to, but it never really got up to much.
Malachek now without shades. It's kind of that Blady flick to Ben Laurie. Laurie now sees Hogg. Hogg continues to Smith.
5 seconds.
Smith over the top to Malachek. Malachek to Frood. That's a Dallas score with 1.7 seconds left.
And that's really good recognition by Dallas, seeing 17 seconds left in the quarter. We can make 5-6 passes in 17 seconds to go 10, 20 yards at a time or less. Nashville thinking, oh my gosh, there's only so many seconds left in the quarter. We have to be playing over the top. It's going to come. There's going to be a shot. There's going to be a shot. And when that shot never comes, they're all playing over the top. Jay Frood's open in front of the end zone because people didn't pay attention to, oh, we got to be in front of the guy if it comes short.
And then now it puts Nashville in a difficult position to still score in this third quarter with less than 2 seconds remaining. Dallas up by 6. Jimmy Mickle with the pull. The clock won't start until Nashville makes contact with the disc. It does land inbounds. Goes up. It was released, so if this is caught, it will be for a score. And it was just bobbled by Carden. I think he didn't quite expect that the disc was actually coming to him.
You don't expect to catch the end of the quarter point foot off the ground when there's like 6 foot tall people jumping 4 or 5 feet off the ground around you.
Certainly exciting. So it's 23-17. We've got 1 quarter left to play. We will be back after a quick break. You're watching the Dallas Roughnecks on DallasRoughnecks.com.
I loved that you guys talk about cancer awareness, and it's more about body awareness and knowing their own bodies.
And I think Eric is a wonderful way to bring this into school. That you come with a complete program.
The information is good. It's presented in a very professional way. The instructors do an excellent job.
I think the kids overall had a great time. I can see from their responses that they wanted us to get some more ultimate discs in the school, and that we'll be playing all the way into the spring and summer.
We really appreciated you coming out. We love the message you guys send.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Eric, for coming out to the Pittsburgh area. It's a great experience for our kids.
Thank you for sharing your message with the kids. We really appreciate the energy that you've brought, and I really encourage anybody else who might be interested in this program to bring them on in.
We're back in the Colony, Texas. 1 quarter left of play to go. Dallas starting on defense. Matt Bennett with the pull. Nashville setting up in the side stack. Centering it. Right goes to the middle of the field. A little bit of handler movement instead. Doherty sees Lindsay in the center of the field. Lindsay looking for the dump. Has that little pizza box pass there. Inside flick. Nashville working it across the field. The backhand break to right. Nashville starts the fourth quarter with a score.
It's good execution all across the field. Swinging over to the fore side, ended up before 2-3 stall counts when you had the disc on the sideline, looking for a break mark. Found a guy that got poached. He was open underneath. Totally capitalized. Break from there.
That was Jake Wright's 5th goal of the game tonight for Nashville.
He's definitely been a generator for them, both intensity and just actual objective points on the board.
Woohoo! No. So that was just a 30-second long point there. Pretty quick score there for Nashville. So now they will pull to the Dallas O-line. Dallas still up by 5. Casey Hogg to receive for Dallas. Centers to Malachek. Malachek looking upfield for Dalton Smith. Dalton Smith tracks it down. Big backhand to Jay Frood. Jay Frood goes up, and there's a score.
Dallas really capitalizing on the space that side stack affords you. I mean, to be fair, Malachek's pass wasn't perfect. It was into the space, and Dalton read it really well, got his defender overplaying underneath, got a free catch, and honestly a free shot for basically the same angle to Frood, who caught basically the same way. So.
Great work there from the Dallas offense. So as short as the first point of the fourth quarter was, the second point of the fourth quarter, even shorter. My math's not great,
right,
but that was definitely less than 30 seconds.
I mean, Dallas does not want to be outshined at home. If you can score in 30 seconds, we can score in 13. So
there you go. Thanks for doing the math for me, Paul. Matt Bennett now with the pull. Bro centers to Gollin. Back to Bro. Great cut across the middle there. Ortiz now uses the full field. Finds Snook. Snook now centers, not really centers, but back to Doherty. Doherty now to Slater. Slater back to Doherty. Doherty, that hammer once again. And Zach Riggins a little too early. Ortiz with the score.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Riggins playing aggressive there, trying to make the offensive player have to pay attention to see where it's going. But Dallas getting a bit lulled to sleep in terms of putting pressure on the resets and making those dumps and break mark throws difficult for Nashville. Nashville having an easy time just kicking out to the fore side, and then when their play initiates, Dallas is playing off of it, and they're getting 2, 3, 4 throws in a row to get over on the break side and capitalize as a result.
Yeah, really great use of the full field there from Nashville. So Dallas up by 6. Short points here so far in the fourth quarter. Dallas O-line set to receive. Looks like Ben Laurie is going to catch the pull instead for Dallas. Gets it to Malachek. Malachek to Mickle. Nashville really sagging in the lanes there on defense. Malachek to Hogg. Hogg swings over to Dalton Smith. Smith puts up a backhand to Freechild. We have Freechild and Hogg. Dylan says, no, I got this.
They'll be courteous to each other, but they do want to score the point for themselves, so don't want to take it away from Dylan. Nashville getting caught again. They did their junk zone look, cutting off a lot of initiations, but they lost a guy in the back again.
And it appears that Nashville is playing this saggy zone defensive look for a certain number of throws. Then they kind of shift into a one-on-one coverage situation, but then that's where it seems like maybe somebody's not picking up their person.
Yeah, eventually it does have to break down to find your guy, and if the guy's already snuck behind your zone spacing, it's difficult to find, okay, where is he on the field right now? Why, oh gosh, why is nobody covering him?
Dylan Freechild, too, with that reception, his 6th goal of the game. Bennett with that big pull. Matty J hustling down on D. Nashville swings around to Bro. And just out of reach for Grandin.
Another instance where Matty J, look, you could almost see it on his face. He could have bid for a poach on that D, but held off.
Not quite. Freechild picks up, finds Riggins. Riggins back to Freechild. Freechild with the flick fake ends up little Bennett Freechild give and go. Bennett clears. So Matt Jackson with the score with that pancake catch.
Just one of those lesser known skills as a thrower. Dylan Freechild right there. Often enough people don't talk about your fakes, and it doesn't necessarily have to be you swinging your arm wildly to make a defense think that you're throwing a deep shot. He points over the top. Babe Ruth points out, oh, the guy back there. Defense shifts over thinking, well, obviously there's somebody there, when really Matt Jackson was going to be open in the front corner.
Great cut by Matt Jackson to that front cone. That brings it to Dallas 26, Nashville 19, 9:34 left to play in the game. Ben Laurie to pull for Dallas. That pull is caught, sent to Schaffner. Schaffner over to Doherty. Doherty gets it to Avello. Avello still looking for Doherty. Swings it to Schaffner with that layout grab. She slings it over to Avello. Avello now to Hardesty. Hardesty to Bro. And Hardesty with the toe. Almost a slow motion grab there.
Right.
But
and
that
he was in by a good solid foot or more.
But it was
never mind.
Not a score. Dalton Smith picks it up from the cone. Fakes around, finds Chris Larberg. Larberg now back to Smith. Smith looking for Holleran. Holleran lets it go. Dallas calls a timeout. Jason Holleran holding his hand there.
I think he may have been nicked by a errant cleat on a foot block attempt.
Ouch. So the disc will be before that huck went up, before that reception, when Holleran had the disc. That is when the timeout was called. 8:35 remaining. Some substitutions. Mickle coming on the field for Dallas.
Yes.
As well as Bennett.
Generally switching in a more thrower-centric line, especially when you're going to be starting in a corner that is the end zone you're defending. One thing definitely need to point out about Nashville's offense there. Maybe they got a little hasty at the end, had a bit of an errant throw, but again, their red zone offense doing extremely well, and Jesse Schaffner saving that swing pass back into dump space. I've heard it said a few different times that as far as your offense is concerned, the buck stops at your handlers, and she's been a very good foundation for their handler line right there. If the throw into the dump space is a little far, maybe not perfect, gets caught in the wind, she is going to recover for them and get them set up right.
Great extension from Schaffner there. Bennett now to pick up the disc for Dallas, coming in from the timeout. Dallas set up in kind of a horizontal stack, flooding this break side. They're flooding this near sideline. Lori comes in, then goes out. But Ortiz with that heads up D gets the interception. Now Phillipson gets that off of the sideline. Little give and go there. Reed Bacon on the mark. Around to Doherty. Now to Ortiz. Ortiz then with the IO flick, looking for Wright in the end zone. Wright snatches that out of the air.
And Wright making a good cut into open space at the right time. Just really hard to keep track of that guy. Throw hung up a little bit, but he had 5-7 yards of open space and just caught it pretty easy.
Your Roughnecks are back in action next week.
Great defensive intensity there from Nashville to get that interception. And then they've had such good patience in the red zone. They were really able to convert.
Yeah, again, I believe the D was made by a player not guarding the intended receiver for the pass. They flooded a bunch of defenders into the space. Bennett looked at his dump, keyed in on him too much, didn't realize that there were defenders poaching into the space, and Nashville, being heads up, playing positional, caught Dallas off guard again.
Coach Will Hannon saying before the game he really wanted his team to show a lot of grit. They certainly have been for every quarter this game. Malachek with the big huck. Jimmy Mickle reaching, and grabs that falling disc for the score.
Didn't know if he was going to have to bid for that, but he ended up doing it one way or another anyways.
Malachek, talk about throwing that up there, and Mickle with that crazy closing speed. You could see on his face that he was determined to make that catch.
I mean, when it comes out of Malachek's hands, especially that's a downwind throw, Jimmy knows you're going to have to book it as best you possibly can if you have any chance of catching up to that disc.
That's why you do your track workouts, people. And such coordination, too, to be able to make that low grab in stride as well. 7:49 left in the fourth. Dallas up by 7. Coach Pat Eberly.
Yeah, Barney, you like that one?
Down on the pole. Hardesty swings it up. Riggins goes up too high. There's a tip. Doherty thinks he might be able to get it on the second attempt. No dice. Bennett now walking it up to the goal line for Dallas. Scuba over the top to Larberg. Larberg's like, yep, I've seen this before. He goes upfield to Bacon. Bacon to Eberly. Eberly gets tripped up. Little tangled feet there. No call.
Unfortunate. Eberly seeing that it was going to hang up, and the defender, being as fast as he is going to catch up to that play. Tried to get position on him, but got tripped up in his feet.
USAU, that gets talked about for 5 minutes.
A little bit of incidental contact there. Have Gollin with the disc for Nashville. Now Doherty bobbles but catches it. Around to Schaffner. Just out of the reach.
Another one of those directly over her head, but that one was coming in sharp, so it was going to drop faster and just really difficult to actually get your head turned the right way and make that grab.
Now Dallas inside half field. Swings around to Riggins. Riggins with that floaty backhand in the air. Chris Larberg keeps continuing with the bobble and the catch. Looks for the reset, and Bennett. Bennett now with the backhand to Reed Bacon for the score.
Chris Larberg almost notorious at this point for that second effort grabbed. It's one of those guys you can't just see it bounce off his hand. He bobbles the catch and whatnot and just think, oh, okay, good. We're going to play offense now. He's obviously turned it over. Chris Larberg will absolutely take the second effort and save that catch.
And he certainly kept with it. So crucial in those kind of crowded situations there. So now we're just under 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Dallas up by 8. Matt Bennett to pull for Dallas. Phillipson with the disc, gets it to Walden. Walden swings around. There's a whistle. Pick called. Actually, it was an inadvertent whistle, so the disc will stay with Barnhart. Ben Lewis there on the mark. Gets that off to Walden. Walden swinging around to Phillipson. Phillipson with that backhand to Darty. Darty to Walden. Walden, flick cut goes up, looking for right. Riggins and Lewis. And I think we would give Lewis the block there.
Definitely. I do believe he knocked that down.
Nah, I wouldn't dream it. I was trying to get on screen.
Malachek with the disc for Dallas. He finds Bennett. Bennett, Huck goes up, looking for Lewis downfield. Lewis reading it. Gets that grab and finds a continuing Hogg for the score.
Not the first time this evening that Casey Hogg has been in prime position for that continuation goal. Ben Lewis on both sides of the disc, getting a good clap catch on that one with an excellent read.
So what would you say? Ben Lewis didn't quite get the bookends because he got the assist there. But that's close, right? That's like a 1.75 or a 0.75 bookends.
I don't know. We could probably create a term for it at some point,
like
and someone almost certainly will.
A book N, so not the DS. I don't know, but that was great work there from Ben eBay Lewis. Dallas up by 9. 4:41 left in the game. Dylan Freechild with the disc to pull for Dallas. And an offsides called on the spin pull. I think when Dylan was, I'm not sure who it was on, but Nashville will now receive the disc at midfield. Huck goes up, and that's an easy score from Ortiz.
Yeah, unfortunately for Dallas, I mean, he made a good cut and was open with a bunch of space towards the sideline. Talked about taking hero shots or whatnot by Nashville. That really wasn't necessarily a hero shot. The receiver gave a good opportunity, and your centering handler, the guy that you want to be making those kind of throws, saw it and took advantage.
4:36 left in the game. Dallas 29, Nashville 21. Dallas to receive on offense. Big pull goes up. Malachek centering the field. On the field to Jay Frood. Frood now with the fake. Centers it back to Malachek. Malachek to Hogg. Hogg over to Smith. Smith puts up a bit of a hospital pass. Can't get there to Freechild.
Excellent position defense by the defender, cutting off Freechild's opportunities to get to the disc.
And Malachek kind of cherry picking there, gets that D to Mickle. Mickle finds Frood, and Jay Frood for the score.
Another one of those hammers over the top. It didn't quite sail as well as he wanted to. The wind picked up a little bit over the past couple of points, and he's throwing directly into it, so it obviously fell short. Malachek had a better angle to read on it than I believe Schaffner was the possible handler to pick that up. You can't just give Brandon Malachek the disc 2 yards from the goal or whatnot. People are going to take advantage. So
definitely. So now 3:49 left. Dallas 30, Nashville 21. That was Jay Frood's 7th goal of the game. I think we're going to go ahead and call it that Jay Frood is our player of the game this week.
I would absolutely agree with that. Definitely making plays over the top of people, saving passes when his teammates were double teamed, and coming up with Ds that nobody really expected him to. Surely not Nashville.
What is he? What is he not?
So Nashville will take it at the brick mark. Double teamed there. Fakes the hammer. Walden fakes the hammer. Gets the big flick huck. Bennett on defense. And Bennett with the block. Pass intended for Avello.
Bennett doing a very good job of making sure the receiver knew he was there. He didn't push the receiver or whatnot and made a good leap over the top, but the defender or the offensive player knew Bennett was there to make the play.
Bennett now in the corner, puts up a big backhand huck. Reed Bacon in the backfield, trying to track that down. He catches it right outside the end zone, throws it to Chris Larberg, and Larberg with the score. There is a Nashville player down on the field after that play. Dallas takes it to a 10-point lead. They're 31 to Nashville's 21. It was Walden down, but he's a little shaky, but does get up and is walking off the field.
Not exactly certain how he possibly could have hurt himself on that play. Maybe taking a bid, trying to block Bacon's throw over to Larberg and just had a poor landing and got the wind knocked out of him or something. But he seems to be doing all right now.
Now Jimmy Mickle with the pull for Dallas. Lots of hang time there to Payne. Payne fakes the huck. Ends up dumping it to Bro. Back to Payne, to On.
Yes, Javi.
On with a pivot around to Payne. Into Bro. Backhand huck goes up. And what a grab from Colin Grandin. Looked like Ben Lewis had a shot.
He did have a potential angle to bid for the play, but seeing as that angle would have taken him directly into the receiver, I believe that's why he pulled it off, pulled back, did not actually take that bid. Because, I mean, Ben Lewis is a solid guy. You do not want to be ramming directly into him flying through the air. So all credit to the receiver for making an excellent grab. But all credit also to Ben Lewis for being mindful and not injuring.
Good body control there. I think that's certainly good spirit as well. So 2:39 left in the game. Dallas 31, Nashville 22. Casey Hogg catches the pull. Casey centers it to Malachek. Not really centers, but gets it to Malachek. Back to Hogg. Over to Dalton Smith. Smith now sees Frood, back to Smith. Looking for that upfield cut. Finds Ben Laurie. Gains about 15 yards. Laurie with the around flick. Casey Hogg closes in to catch that. Looking for his option, sees Jay Frood underneath. Frood now with a flick to Malachek. Malachek to Freechild. Freechild with a low IO flick to Jay Frood. And our player of the game with his 8th goal of the game.
Rightly deserved player of the game. He definitely created, he had another 15, 20 yards of space to the sideline and another 10 to 15 yards to the back of the end zone, giving Freechild all kinds of space to throw to. Freechild's very good at finding the spot that he needs to hit on that inside-out flick, but Frood definitely gave him all kinds of opportunity.
So that was also Freechild's 6th assist of the game. So Dylan Freechild will come away, as of now, he has 6 goals and 6 assists.
Yes.
That could be a contender for player of the game as well.
Right, but Jay having several Ds, several big grabs over, several big defenders, obviously they're both talented and generating a lot for their teams right now, so I stand by Jay.
I think we made a good decision there. We're under 2 minutes left in the game. Nashville finds Barnhart. Little miscommunication there, interception to Bennett. Bennett sees Hogg. Hogg dishes back to Bennett. Bennett now over the top Scuba, but that is Deed. Chris Larberg thinks he might be able to get that on the way down, just out of reach. There is a block on the play. Actually ends up being a foul called. So now Darty will take it 10 yards up. He sees Phillipson. Phillipson to Andy Barney Barnhart to Wright.
Yes, Barney!
Wright swings that around to Phillipson.
Oh, nice, Bill!
Phillipson now to Lindsay. Over to Walden.
Nice, Blake! Yeah, Blake.
Walden, big swing to Darty. Doherty sees Barney for Barney's 2nd goal of the game.
Definitely some confusion among the Dallas defenders upfield on that one. I saw that Larberg was definitely trailing the play and whatnot. It looks like on one of the fakes when that offensive possession initiated, he may have been caught in the face, caught in the nose, definitely shaken up. And if he's trailing the play, Dallas is very good at being heads up and helping out somebody that's getting beat and calling for switches and whatnot. But eventually, you get caught on too many switches, somebody ends up open, just sneaking past your defense. So I believe that's what happened there. Nashville capitalizing on Dallas being out of position.
So last week at home, Nashville only scored 8 points, but they put up 23 points on Dallas today.
Bit of a night and day difference there. There's only a 1-point, 2-point differential, even almost into halftime.
They certainly kept it close. Dallas did pull away. 28.4 seconds left in the game. Ben Laurie back to receive. That pull will go out of bounds. Malachek now to take the disc from the brick mark. Dallas setting up in a vertical stack. Casey Hogg and Malachek back. And then in the handler set, Ben Laurie setting the stack in the 1. Looks like a played call. Laurie goes deep from the 1 spot. Mickle came under from the 5. Fake deep, finds Jay instead. Frood instead. Frood now swinging off the line to Mickle. Mickle to Freechild. Freechild with that sliding grab to Laurie. 5 seconds in the game. Mickle Malachek, hammer over the top. as time expires, there's the block. Your final score is Dallas 32, Nashville 23.
A 9-point differential at the end of the game when it was almost tied at halftime. I mean, one thing that can be definitely said about Dallas, maybe they weren't necessarily happy about the start of the game, but Dallas finishes games. And they definitely did it in the fourth. They started to do it in the third. They're very good at finishing games.
Dallas will go on the road next week. They are going to be in Jacksonville on Friday and then play Raleigh on Saturday. So what is their key there on the road with two tough matchups?
Yeah, I do believe that, I mean, Dallas is very aware that going into Jacksonville first and then playing Raleigh second, those are two very, very talented teams, very athletic teams, and Jacksonville being a very physical team, right? And they're the team you play first. It's going to definitely be a strain on Dallas, strain on their roster, strain on their fatigue that they pull through that weekend. And especially coming out against Nashville tonight and not necessarily having a game that you were as satisfied with as you want to be. It's going to be definitely a week of reset, refocus, and get ready for the upcoming weekend.
So our next home game is going to be May 21st here at home. Dallas is playing Atlanta. So we hope you join us here at the 5-Star Colony Sports Complex for that home game. Next week they will be on the road, so be sure to check out our social media channels and those respective live streams. So Paul, if you are Dallas, they came out to a little bit of a flat start, but how do you think then they really kind of put the pieces together to be able to win by 9 by the end?
I mean, they've done it before this season, and they've talked about it themselves that, you know, during a halftime they'll bring everybody in, focus down, be like, okay, here are the things that we need to be working on, here are the things that we've tried that haven't worked, and here are the things that we can consequently get better at for the rest of the game. They fix some of the mistakes, they start looking at things, they get focused on what they can capitalize on, and they score and they win the game. You know, as also about Nashville, we talked about grit and playing through the entire game. Nashville had all kinds of grit for the first 2-3 quarters. Holding that out for the entirety of the game is one of the challenges that teams have to overcome in order to beat this Dallas team.
Definitely. So be sure to check out our social media channels on Facebook. We're at Roughnecks on Twitter. We're on Instagram at Roughnecks. We'll have our interview with Jay Frood, our player of the game this week, as well as all kinds of highlights and exclusive content. Until then, thanks for watching. We'll see you back here our next home game, May 21st, here in the Colony. For Paul Burt, I'm Emmy Fitzgerald. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.